Welcome back. This video came out just a while ago by Ben Shapiro. He's going to react to Mr. Beast or do commentary on him. I don't know. This video is called Here is Why Mr. Beast is in Big Trouble. So let's see what the guy offers us.
Well, folks, MrBeast is the top YouTuber on planet Earth. His videos are really, really watchable, beautifully produced, really entertaining, but now he's got a major problem. Many people who are sort of outside the YouTube sphere have no idea who MrBeast is, but MrBeast is the single most popular YouTuber on YouTube, meaning he has tens of millions of followers, a huge number of people follow his videos. Even if you're not sort of a routine YouTuber, you've probably seen some of his videos. He very famously, a couple of years ago,
I mean, he is universally famous.
for example, did a remake of Squid Game in which he actually hired a bunch of people or offered a
Yeah,
bunch of people to take
those
part
days
in
were
Squid Game
hype.
and shot with paintball guns. His videos are incredibly well done. They've been viewed hundreds of
Indeed.
millions of times each. We're talking about billions and billions of views for MrBeast. He's a very young guy. He's like 24, 25 years old.
Older than
His
me.
actual name is Jimmy Donaldson. And the entire sort of drive of his show is that he does these incredibly creative videos, very clickable videos. And very often he does things for charity in his videos as well. We've talked about him on the show before, helping to donate money so that people who are going blind can actually have surgery, or making sure that people in Africa have shoes. There's some really cool stuff on his YouTube channel.
He has done many charitable, miraculous things.
The entire sort of vibe of his show is that he and some of his friends, sort of the bros, they're constantly going and they are doing things together. It's him and his team of friends. Well, now MrBeast has a problem. MrBeast's problem is that one of his co-stars, his longtime friend Chris Tyson, has decided that he is now a woman. Now, normally, this isn't really a problem, right? You got a friend, your friend decides that they're a woman. That's it.
I would not recommend it since it's not natural.
A you issue, right? I mean, that's just a question for you in your life. How are you going to handle that? But the problem is for MrBeast that Chris Tyson is actually a member of the cast. Chris Tyson is a person who was part of sort of the bro crew, and now he is saying that he is gender transitioning into becoming a woman. And for people who are fans of MrBeast, this sort of changes the dynamic a little bit. Sort of changes the dynamic. Right? If you are somebody who watches MrBeast regularly, and suddenly a bunch of bros are interrupted by one guy who is pretending to be or believes that he is a woman, it changes the dynamic in rather stark ways, especially given the fact that Chris Tyson has in the past made sort of transgender jokes about transgenderism. Well, a little while ago, a few months ago, he decided that he was going to begin hormone replacement therapy, and he started.
Who in their sane mind would have thought this would exist and this should exist? It's blasphemy. It's hideous. It's disgusting.
Looking significantly less masculine on camera and significantly more feminine on camera. Now, listen, if you were running a TV show, which is essentially what MrBeast is doing, if you're running a piece of entertainment, then typically what you do is you cast for roles, right? Now, on YouTube, because it's all about authenticity, very often they're just sort of your friends. But the reality is the dynamic created is a dynamic that is for the cameras. And so typically speaking, let's say that you were running a show, other than the Umbrella Academy, and one of your stars decided they were a member of the opposite sex. What would you do? Well, you would probably just say, well, you don't get to be in the show anymore because the dynamic of the show has changed.
That's the wise move.
And that has nothing to do with bigotry. That has to do with the dynamic and success of the show. Not only that, if you were actually friends with somebody, if one of my close friends were on camera with me and they decided to make a radical life shift, they wouldn't expect me to continue to put the success of my career on hold.
It would distract MrBeast and many other people in the team.
Or at risk because they were making a personal life decision. In other words, it's not my job to make room for you on this particular show because you've decided to make a life decision that now cuts directly against the entire dynamic of the show. Now, I mentioned the Umbrella Academy a moment ago on Netflix. They've run into serious.
I mean, let's be serious. Let's be serious. Kids watch MrBeast. Families watch MrBeast, and then this kind of drama happens. The negative impact is huge, and it puts pressure on MrBeast.
Serious trouble because the Umbrella Academy started off with Ellen Page, a woman, playing a girl on the show, like a straight woman on the show. And then Ellen Page decided that she was a lesbian, and so they actually added a lesbian storyline in the middle of Umbrella Academy. And then Ellen Page decided that she was Elliot Page, a man. And so
I don't know who Ellen Page is, and I don't care.
then they turned the entire character into a male. And that just doesn't work. I mean, it's ridiculous and it's silly. But that's exactly what is sort of now expected in the entertainment world, is that everyone who casts these shows, they have to treat people who completely changed their entire identity as completely unfireable, like absolutely unfireable. So all this began again when Chris Tyson started to change his appearance on the show to appear more feminine, and then started tweeting out publicly about the benefits and wonders of gender affirming healthcare. So Chris Tyson tweeted out, and again, he's changed his entire Twitter profile. So now he has sort of an illustration of himself looking like a woman, although he doesn't look anything like that in real life. He looks like a dude who's wearing some makeup and has some long hair. He says, informed consent, HRT, that'd be hormone replacement therapy, saved me and many others' lives. The hurdles GNC people, gender non-conforming people, have to jump through to get life-saving gender-affirming healthcare in a first-world country is wild to me. Just let people make informed decisions about their own bodies. And people started pointing out, well, Chris, when you make life decisions, it actually has impact on other people. See, this is the magnificent narcissism of modern society, is that we decide that the personal life decisions that make us feel better in the cockles of our heart, these are the things that really matter in life, not our relationships with other people, not, in Chris Tyson's case, the relationship that he has with his wife and his kid.
It ruins everything because he has his own family, his own wife, and his offspring, aka child. So that makes the child father, lose a father figure in life. So it has great negative impact, as I said before. And I mean, he got divorced, and now he's trying to, use this imaginary new life that he's talking about. And in the long term, it would give him great mental depression.
He has a wife and he has a kid. Let me just express something to you right now. If you decide that your feelings of comfort and gender identity are more important than your relationship with your wife and your child, you are being selfish. This is true for everyone. If you're a man and you decide that you're going to cheat on your wife because, listen, it makes you feel better about yourself. You're hitting your 40s, and now it's time for that midlife crisis, and you decide to go get a younger model and take that for a ride. Well, that is you being a bad person. That is you being a narcissist. That is you ignoring the actual priorities of your own life. Life is about what are you going to sacrifice on behalf
Yeah,
of the
true.
people who mean the most to you. It is not about you feeling the best you can feel on the interior of you, especially because that's a really subjective feeling, and it turns out it's
It's it's great that Ben Shapiro is actually talking facts about the issue, unlike, many popular streamers and YouTubers being supportive to Chris and all that. You know, giving an advice to a person thinking about this insanity should be encouraged rather than, people say, I support you for being this. No, you have to talk against it. Encourage him that what you're doing is wrong and you should think about it.
incredibly transitory. Not only is it transitory, when you're telling lies to yourself, it's incredibly damaging. When you're telling yourself a lie that you're a member of the opposite sex, and meanwhile, completely destroying, presumably, your relationship with your wife, and also completely confusing your own child, that actually is a bad thing to do.
Yeah,
This should
it
not be a controversial statement
it will traumatize the child.
because, again, this is true for everyone gay, straight, gender nonconform, whatever you are. Your top priority is providing for your child a level of stability and understandability to the world. And to your spouse, your highest commitment is to being the best husband or the best wife to your spouse that you can be. This does not involve you seeking yourself. You seeking yourself is a 1960s, 1970s garbage construct in which your own personal priorities take priority. Okay, in any case, some people pointed out that, this changes the dynamic of MrBeast's show, that this actually is a problem for MrBeast's show. So MrBeast was now caught between a rock and a hard place because what our woke society has now created is a rock and a hard place, not for Chris Tyson, whose choice this was in the first place. Whatever he chooses to do with his own family, he is free to do, although I am also free to morally criticize that thing. Because again, anybody who places their own priorities above those of their family is doing the wrong thing. We'll get to that momentarily. First, as you may have noticed, the economy is getting worse by the day. It's time to change your spending habits. Well, if you haven't changed the way you buy meat yet, you really, really should. I'm going to give you 3 reasons to subscribe to Good Ranchers. First, Good Ranchers is giving you free bacon for a year. That is £1.50 of bacon in every single box. That
Sponsor.
is a $240 value. Second, Good Ranchers offers a price lock guarantee, meaning when you subscribe, your price doesn't change for the length of your subscription. When the price of meat is expected to increase by another 4.5% in the coming year, this could be a massive savings for you and your family. And third, Good Ranchers meat is unlike any other meat. They're all natural burgers, USDA prime steaks, better than organic chicken, will change your standard for great meat. They actually went way out of their way. They somehow obtained for me a kosher steak, and then they prepared it the way they would a non-kosher steak. Let me tell you, it was an amazing, amazing steak. So I'm just telling you, Their quality of meat is fantastic. Head on over to goodranchers.com. Use my code Ben for $20 off your order. Goodranchers.com. You need to plan ahead. It is just an important thing. One of the best ways to do that is by using stamps.com to help mail and
Oh,
ship.
another
Stamps.com
sponsor.
lets you
Come
put your
on,
own
man.
profile you need and set your offer to where a person he has show has decided now MrBeast is caught between a rock and a hard place because his friend, a person he has cast on the show and who is now making presumably millions of dollars because he is friends with MrBeast and was a cast member of the show, has decided to completely change
That's the perk of being Mr. Beast's friend. They are making a lot of dough.
his character. Now he's no longer just a dude bro who's with him on the show. Now he is a man who pretends that he's a woman. By the way, this actually has real ramifications for the way that the show feels, the way the show looks. And there's a recent video from MrBeast in which this dude, Chris Tyson, who believes that he is a woman, they're interacting and making all the interactions that used to be kind of normal are now extremely, extremely awkward. Okay, but
Yeah.
MrBeast is stuck between a rock and a hard place. Because if he says to Chris, listen, Chris, you're screwing up the dynamic of the show, right? We didn't bargain for this. You want to make your personal life decisions. You want to take some time. You want to figure out what you're all about. That's fine. But you don't get to enact your personal dramas on the set of my billion-dollar show. You don't really get to do that.
That's true because it will have precautions on the business, on the YouTube channel, on the companies that MrBeast operate, because there will be a lot of hate, people hating it, parents getting stricter and stricter for their kids' protection on YouTube and all that. So most of the time it won't work out for MrBeast. So it's technically a loss for him.
And if you do that, I gotta say that is not kind to me as a friend. He's not allowed to do that. Our society says that he must actually sacrifice his business for the sake of his supposed friend who's willing to put him in this position in the first place. Because if he doesn't put this guy on the air and destroy the dynamic of a show, or at least harm the dynamic of a show.
Because many people work under MrBeast now. He is a massive organization. So he has to look out for his people that are working for them. So the company, the organization should work in a profitable environment.
Then that means that he's a transphobe. But if he leaves the guy on the air, it completely messes up the dynamic of the show, and fewer people are going to watch it. And you can see that in the number of dislikes that have been racking up on MrBeast's YouTube page. So MrBeast had to make the choice, and so the choice that he chose is, of course, the wokest choice. He tweeted out, yeah, this is getting absurd. Chris isn't my nightmare. He's my bleeping friend, and things are fine. All this transphobia is starting to piss me off. Okay, that's MrBeast's choice, but you also have a choice, which is whether you actually wish to watch MrBeast videos. Right? Or whether you want your kids to watch it. MrBeast stuff is very safe for kids, typically speaking. It's kind of silly.
For now, it's safe, but this Chris drama going on, I don't know.
Stuff like, what is the difference between a $1 flight versus a $100 flight versus?
That's true because usually MrBeast's video are entertaining. I myself like it, and I'm sure a lot of you are his fans and love it. I'm not against MrBeast. I love the guy, but the way the show has been operating ever since Chris discovered himself again. Yeah.
This is a $10,000 flight, right? It's that kind of stuff. Well, I do not feel as though my kids should be exposed to a man who believes that he is a woman on the YouTubes until they're of age to understand exactly what is going on. A lot of other parents are going to have that same exact question. And that's not the fault of MrBeast. That's the fault of Chris Tyson. And him putting his friend in that position is, on a personal level, somewhat inexcusable. But again,
that's the sign of a hypocrite. What Chris is doing.
This is all about our society basically deciding that personal authenticity comes at the cost of everyone else around you. Everyone else around you must be made to mirror your priorities. It's the only thing that matters. What makes Chris Tyson feel good is the only thing that matters in all of this, which is why presumably Chris Tyson tweeted about his own kid. He tweeted, quote, I won't let people talk about how I, quote, abandoned my child. He's the only priority in my life. I have his love and support, and that is all.
If he was his only priority, then why would he think of this, gender change thing? Why would he do that? He would have just abandoned his thoughts and focused on his family a bit more. But no, selfishness overcomes priorities.
That I need. I'm doing this for him. If that confuses you, educate yourself. If that makes you mad,
how does that help him, Chris? It will only make him lose a father figure, and he will be abandoned, bullied for the rest of his life.
Leave. Simple. You're not doing this for him.
Yeah,
You're not. That's a lie. This is like the parents who
it's
say,
lie.
not because they're in an abusive marriage or something, they say, you know what? I'm I'm leaving because I have to leave my wife and I have to leave my child because after all, if I stayed, just the dynamic, I'm really leaving for this younger model. I'm doing it for my child. Don't you understand? The happiest version of me is the one that my child ought to see. No, that is not how any of this works. Again, as a father of three, soon to be four, gotta tell you, you're constantly sacrificing your personal authenticity and happiness on behalf of your children.
A lot of Chris's blind supporters will still ignore the facts and continue to say that what he is doing right now is right. That's wrong. Everyone must understand that.
Just a thing you do all the time. But let's be real. What we are now doing is we are reverse engineering how parenting, how relationships are supposed to be done. Everyone is out there to validate you. You're not out there to validate anyone else, right? It's not your job to create relationships with other people with give and take. It is their job to mirror you. It is the perfect tale of narcissists. We are now stuck looking in the mirror at ourselves constantly. And if we don't like what we see, then we insist that we get a new mirror and that everyone around us mirror back to us what it is that we are. Alrighty. The rest of the show is continuing right now. You're not going to want to miss it. We're going to be getting into censorship, more censorship of new novels, plus the ridiculous hit on Clarence Thomas. If you're not a member, become a member. Use code Shapiro. Check out for 2 months free on all annual plans. Click that link in the description and join us.
Okay, that was the video. Um, Ben Shapiro actually explained the situation very well, and he provided the solutions that should be needed, and he also described the impact of Chris's foolishness has on MrBeast and on the fans that watch them. Little kids and all that. Little kids watch them and inspired to be like them and will try to emulate like them. So they will go like, I mean, they will think in their mind that if Chris can do it, then why not we? And they are underage kids, so we should take care of them and not let these kind of clowns, ruin them. So I am not in support of Chris whatsoever. I'm sure a lot of you have learned from the facts that Ben Shapiro has presented. So that's the video. Yeah. If you like the video, then leave a like, subscribe, and comment in the comment section. I'll be I'll be leaving now. Okay. Bye bye.